Brooklyn rapper Lil Kim has had a long-lasting beef with Nicki Minaj from the neighboring borough of Queens. Now, is Lil Kim the Brooklyn Queen Bee, or is Nicki Minaj the rap queen from Queens? Or are they both queens in their own right? Beef between well-established and up-and-coming rappers is nothing new. You could look back to beefs like Kool Moe Dee vs LL Cool J, or LL Cool J vs Cannabis. This is one of the first and biggest examples of rap beef between female rappers though. Kimberly Denise Jones, aka Lil Kim, got her break in the industry when she met Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G., or Biggie, in the early 90s, and then in 1994 became a member of the group Junior Mafia that was put together by Biggie, and she was the only female member. They released their debut album Conspiracy in 1995, and then in 1996, she released her solo debut album Hardcore, which went on to be a multi-platinum selling album and considered to be a classic album by many. She went on to release more albums like the notorious K.I.M. in 2000, which was named after her mentor and boyfriend Biggie, and La Bella Mafia in 2003, which were both platinum selling albums. They also proved that she can still have a successful career without Biggie, who was known to have written rhymes for her and other members of the Junior Mafia group, as Biggie was unfortunately shot and killed in March 1997, just months after the release of her debut album. Then we have Onika Tanya Mirage Petty, since her marriage to Kenneth Petty in 2019, aka Nicki Minaj. Born in Trinidad and Tobago, she then wound up living in Queens with her mother. She started in the industry as a member of the group The Hood Stars along 3 others, including her then boyfriend now known as Safari. Then in 2007, she signed to Big Fendi's Dirty Money label as a solo artist and released her debut mixtape, Playtime Is Over. On there is the track Jump Off 07, which uses the beat and title from the Lil Kim hit single The Jump Off from her 2003 album La Bella Mafia. Then in 2008, she released her second mixtape, Sucker Free, and some of the promotional photos for the mixtape feature Nicki Minaj in a pose similar to Lil Kim had on her album Hardcore. Some felt that it was Nicki Minaj copying Lil Kim. This would begin the tension between the two. The mixtape also features the track Wanna Minaj, which was her version of the track Freaky Girl by Gucci Mane, in particular the remix, which features Ludacris and Lil Kim. On the track, Gucci and Luda's verses are removed and Kim's verses is kept. On the track Who's Your Best MC, Nicki Minaj shouted out a few female rappers including Lil Kim.
Name a girl as real as her. Nope, not them. Who's your best MCs? Nick, Fox, and Kim. Can't forget a rim. Nick up in the Porsche box or the Benz.
Also, in multiple interviews around this time, Nicki would give credit to Kim for basically paving the way, and when asked about her would speak positively. So at least publicly, Nicki Minaj wasn't directly dissing Kim, yet. Then in 2009, Nicki Minaj released her third mixtape, Beam Me Up, Scotty. This is also the year when she and Lil Kim first met in person. They met backstage at a Lil Wayne concert, and according to Minaj, she asked Kim if everything is good between the two, but Kim in interviews denied their meeting going that way. Then in November 2009, Birdman released his fourth solo album, Priceless. The relevance will show itself pretty soon, don't worry. The next year, in June 2010, Kim and Ray J were together during a show, and Ray J stated that he sees a lot of Lil Kim imitators and imposters trying to copy her style, and that Kim is the best female rapper in the game. Kim and Ray J have a relationship going back to their hit single, Wait a Minute, from Ray J's second album, This Ain't a Game, and this was seen as an obvious diss to Nicki Minaj. Shortly afterwards, Drake took the stage at a show with Nicki and took to her defense, likely in direct response to the prior Ray J comment. Also in June, Diddy released a remix to the single Hello Good Morning featuring Nicki Minaj. She starts her verse with the lines, I just came up in it a little bit self-centered, but did I kill a queen? Which was seen by some as a shot at Lil Kim, aka the Queen Bee of Rap. Also around this time, a song leaked titled Everywhere We Go featuring Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj. Then later that year in November, Nicki released her debut album Pink Friday, full of hit singles like Your Love and Super Bass. Leading up to the album release, she released the track Roman's Revenge featuring Eminem. The song was considered by some to be a diss aimed at Lil Kim, especially with lines like, look at my show footage, how these girls be spazzing, so fuck I look like getting back to a has-been. Yeah, I said it, has-been, hanging it up flat screen, or you little Fraggle Rock, beat you with a padlock, I am a movie, camera block, You out of work, I know it's tough, but enough is enough. Which can be seen as a reference to Lil Kim, who at that point hadn't released a new album since Naked Truth, released in 2005. On top of that, she served a year in prison, and after being released in 2006, hadn't been featured on many big songs like she had been beforehand. Around the release of the album, Lil Kim put out the diss track, Black Friday, aimed at Nicki Minaj in response to the Roman's Revenge track and other shots at her. On Black Friday, she raps over the beat to the Pharoah Monch song Simon Says. She comes out hard, letting it know that this is aimed at Nicki with the lines, "Who the fuck want war? FedEx beef straight to your front door. It'll be a murder scene. I'm turning Pink Friday to Friday the 13th. Then she also has the lines, "This hood shit, you and Drake ain't built for this. This the shit the other bitch almost got killed for," which is most likely in response to what Drake said during the concert about her and Nicki, and of course a thinly veiled shot at Foxy Brown, as they have had a long-standing beef as well. That beef I covered on the channel before, so if you haven't seen it yet, check that one out after this. Kim continues on spitting more venom aimed at Nicki and even has a line aimed at Diddy, which is most likely for him featuring Nicki on the Hello Good Morning remix. It's one of the best diss tracks of this beef to me. Using a classic beat like Simon Says definitely helps deliver the punch. Kim had further motivation to diss Diddy though, because besides collaborating on the song, Diddy also was the manager of Nicki Minaj for a brief period of time. Speaking of which, ironically enough, Big Fendi, the former manager of Nicki Minaj, at some point became Lil Kim's manager instead. Was that another way for Kim to get at Nicki Minaj? Possibly. In an interview for thisis50.com, Lil Kim spoke on how Diddy didn't do much to help her out or come visit her when she was in prison.
Puffy is Puffy. It's all about what he can do, what he can get from people. That's it. Puffy it's all about himself a lot of times, because he never really did nothing for me. I mean, when we were coming up, we had to do things for each other, but I judge by what happens afterwards. When I was locked up, and here's where Puffy should feel really bad. When I was locked up, Puffy never put a fucking $10 bill, a penny, a quarter in my fucking commissary. He never fucking wrote me a letter. He didn't try to come see me. None of that.
And also spoke on her beef with Nicki Minaj, like stating that Nicki had been sending shots at her for a little while. Also on the Pink Friday album is the song Did It On 'Em, which features braggadocious lines from Nicki aimed at a presumably fictional character, but some took this as a diss track aimed at Lil Kim. Kim herself must have felt the same way, as she later released a track called Pissin' On 'Em, aimed at Nicki Minaj using the beat from the song. On Did It On 'Em, Nicki says in her first verse, "All these bitches is my sons and I'ma go and get some bibs for them. A couple formulas, little pretty lids on them. If I had a dick, I would pull it out and piss on them." In response, Kim on her first verse has the lines, "All these bitches is my pets. I keep a tight leash around their necks. Bitches try to bite, take their ass to the vet. Put them right to sleep like they popped a Xanax." So it would seem to be a pretty direct response. On Kim's second verse, she has the lines, "You hoes should be rapping on the number 4 train. The price of your mother's house, I paid for my range." Which would seem to be a direct response to the lines, "I remember when I couldn't buy my mother a couch. Now I'm sitting at the closing, bought my mother a house," from the track I'm the Best, which is the intro to the Pink Friday album. Then in February 2011, Lil Kim released the mixtape Black Friday, which was a response to Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday album. The mixtape cover is also a reference to Pink Friday, as it has Lil Kim sitting down holding a knife, and there's an image of the Nicki Minaj Barbie from the Pink Friday cover with her head cut off. She sold the mixtape on PayPal and tweeted that it sold 130,000 copies, to which Nicki Minaj responded on Twitter as well, essentially laughing at the claim. Throughout the mixtape, Kim takes some shots at Nicki Minaj, like for example on the track Clap Clap, and of course the title track. Then in April 2011, the remix to the Britney Spears song Till the World Ends was released, which features Nicki Minaj and Kesha. On Nicki's verse, she sends shots at Kim again with lines like, "Chimpanzees is hating, but I take it all in stride. Put her in the jungle with bananas on the side. Told you they'd revive your career, but somebody lied. I ain't talking poultry when I say this chicken's fried," which is another reference to Lil Kim's rap career not being like it used to be years prior. Leading up to the release of the Pink Friday album, Nicki Minaj made an appearance on Angie Martinez's show on Hot 97 and was asked about her beef with Kim. She had essentially stated that she has praised Kim in interviews and respects her, but basically said that Kim has her own issues she needs to sort out, and points out other women that Kim has dissed like Foxy Brown and Remy Ma, and says Kim should just focus on putting out music.
Sure, I know things have gotten crazy, and people are assuming, even though you say it's not specifically about her, that Roman's revenge is for Kim.
You know, she just really jumped out the window. And you gotta be careful when you pick fights. And that's what I've learned in this business. You just never know. You know, it's one of those moments when you say, don't play with me. You know, because I respect you, I love you, I've said it in every interview, time and time again. And if that's not good enough with you, mama, then it's something deep-rooted in you. You need to get something is bothering you inside. That's your insecurity bothering you. It's not Nicki Minaj. It would have been any girl that started popping. You know, she picked a fight with Foxy, then she picked a fight with Eve, then she picked a fight with Remy. Now it's, you know, then it was Miss Wallace, then it was Nicki Minaj. Every time you in the news, it's because you getting at somebody. Where's your music? You know, put your music out, and when I see your name on Billboard, that's when I'll respond to you.
Throughout this time, Kim also would go on interviews as well and speak on her feelings regarding Nicki and how she feels about the whole situation. In an interview she had on The Breakfast Club around this time, she was asked about how the beef with Nicki Minaj started and went on to explain the beef. According to Kim, she met Slim from Cash Money and they were friends for a few years, even going to be business partners.
Me and Slim were friends for 4 years. And we decided that we were going to go into business together, right? And I was over there at Cash Money. I was getting ready to be partners with them. While I was over there, we were working a lot. Like, I was in Miami and he put me in the studio. I would be in New York and we would be working. We were constantly talking.
She mentioned that Birdman asked her to be on a song for his album, and when she got sent the song, it was empty, just the chorus. And alludes to knowing that he wanted to put Nicki Minaj on it also, as she states that it would be good for female rappers if the song was big.
Baby said to me, hey, you know, I want you to be on my album, well, whatever. And, you know, he sent the song over. It was empty. And it just had a hook on it. And so I sent it back to him quick. They had the record for a while, and you know, me and Slim were talking. We were talking, constantly talking. And so I said to Slim, when I went back to Miami, I said, because I'm not stupid, I said, listen, we're about to be like the mafia family. It's like, I'm the Gambinos, you know, you have like the family inside of the family. I would be the Gambinos, they would be whatever, but we're all going to be family. So go ahead, put whoever you want on the record. Because I already knew.
Right.
I already knew. But I said, this record got to be big because it would be good for music right now. Good for females, good for hip hop.
She didn't name the song by name, but it could be assumed to be the grindin' making money track. She would go on to state that they put out the track but then pulled it because of how it was performing and it never appeared on his album, which is true to an extent. However, if you check online, the deluxe edition of the album does appear to include the song. She goes on to state that she brought a new sound when she was working with Cash Money and that they stole her sound for Nicki.
You know what I mean? And if you listen to that song, the way I did my vocals, hers were different from how I did my vocals at that time. So shortly after that, she started releasing all these records, doing her vocals the way I did my vocals. Now, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? But you have to look back. My fans may not like when I do a certain type of music, but that was a sound that I was getting ready to start. And I was starting a sound a long time ago. And if he tell you that this is not true, he's lying. But I played a record for Slim called Automatic. It's a Saint-Tropez dance type of record. It's 3 years ago I played him this record. On her new album, she has a song called Automatic, and the song is so similar to the song that I played for Slim. The whole sound that I brought to the table, because when Slim was like, what you working on? Let me see, you know, here, where you going with it? She was still doing whatever she was doing when she first came out, the way she was rapping.
Charlamagne the God says that it sounds like a record label thing rather than Nicki, to which Kim responds by stating that Nicki has been throwing shots at her for a while now and has wanted her spot.
You know, if that would have been a big video and a big event record, it would have been good for both of us. But I personally think they didn't want me to stand beside her. which is stupid.
But it sounds like a Young Money Cash Money thing. Like they did that, not necessarily
but
Nicki.
You got to understand something. She was always throwing shots. I don't know what you're talking about.
You never heard it.
You need, because you're not trying to
I used to hear her pay homage, like she said. She used to say, I love Kim, I love Foxy.
You're not trying to do your homework. That's why. Boo-boo. You got to do your homework.
The interview continued on with more about the beef with Nicki Minaj, including how she wanted to do a video together for the song, and continued to debate the crew's opinions on the situation. This does pose a good question though. Is this another beef that essentially started or escalated due to record label issues? Or do you think that Nicki Minaj really just wanted to take the queen or rap spot from Kim? Or maybe a bit of both? After Lil Kim released the Black Friday mixtape, a diss track by Nicki Minaj was leaked titled Tragedy. It's one verse long and clearly an unfinished track, but it's made very clear to be aimed at Lil Kim with the lines, "It must hurt to sell your album off PayPal, especially when you in the game 15-20. You was hot when Shaq teamed up with Penny." That being a reference to Kim selling Black Friday on PayPal and her being in the rap game for at least 15 years, as she made an appearance on Biggie's debut album Ready to Die, was featured on the Junior Mafia album in 1995, and released her debut album in 1996. In November 2011, Lil Kim released a freestyle to the beat for the Uncle Murda track Warning, on which she disses Nicki Minaj, Birdman, and Lil Wayne. The funniest line being the shot at Lil Wayne about them wearing the same jeans, which of course is a dig at the fact that Lil Wayne was at the time wearing a lot of skinny jeans. Shortly afterwards, Lil Kim released the track I Am Not the One, which also appears to be a diss track aimed at Nicki Minaj. Some months later, in April 2012, Nicki Minaj released her second album, Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, which features hit singles like Starships and Pound the Alarm. It also includes the tracks Stupid Ho and Come on a Cone, which were taken by some to be diss tracks aimed at Lil Kim, especially Stupid Ho with its chorus pertaining to the stupid hoe in question. The song was released in December of 2011, and in February 2012, Lil Kim was on the show Watch What Happens Live, and when asked how she felt about Nicki Minaj's Grammy performance, she said that she didn't see the performance, but if you gotta make a song called Stupid Ho, then you must be a stupid hoe.
What did you think? You were watching the Grammys, I assume, on Sunday night. Yeah. What did you think of a performance by a certain hip-hop artist who kind of rips off your style, if you don't mind me saying? What did you think of Nicki Minaj's
I didn't even know. Who was it? Who?
Oh,
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
She was wearing a Little Red Riding Hood outfit.
Oh.
Yeah, what did you think?
I
didn't see it.
Yeah. It just slipped. I don't
That
even
slipped
know.
past you?
Yeah. I didn't know what. I don't know what.
We
that
did.
one.
I have to say, we got an overflow of Nicki Minaj questions for you. What did you think of the Grammy performance? All this stuff. How do you feel about her song Stupid Ho?
I'm pretty sure I feel the same way everybody else feels right about now.
All right.
You know, if you have to make a song called Stupid Ho, you must be a stupid hoe.
Also in December, before Nicki released the Stupid Ho track, she released the track Roman in Moscow, which some consider to be taking shots at Lil Kim as well. She raps in her Roman alter ego again, and on the track she says, "Roman's back, bitch, I fucked up your life last year this time. Remember that? Remember that, bitch?" Considering Roman's Revenge was released in September 2010, a little over a year, and that track is once again considered a diss track to Lil Kim, it all makes sense. Now yes, Nicki did deny that Roman's Revenge was aimed at Lil Kim, but I'll get back to that in a little bit. In December 2013, Beyonce released her self-titled album, which features the song Flawless, which then got a remix in August 2014 featuring Nicki Minaj. On her verse, she has a line, the queen of rap slaying with Queen B. If you ain't on the team, you playing for Team D." Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a shot aimed at Lil Kim directly, but I'm sure we all know Lil Kim's nickname is also Queen B. Lil Kim responded to the track with a remix of her own. After the Queen B line, Nicki's verse cuts off and Kim responds directly with a verse of her own beginning with the lines, "Am I tripping or did this hoe just say my name? Queen of rap? Fuck out of here. Queen is back. Fuck out of here. Time to get this whack bitch out of here." Very clearly a diss to Nicki Minaj. Then in September 2014, Lil Kim released a mixtape titled Hardcore, which of course is also the name of her debut album. On the mixtape is the track Identity Theft, which is, as you can imagine, a diss track aimed at Nicki Minaj for copying Lil Kim. The artwork for the song is the driver's license with Lil Kim's information, but a picture of Nicki Minaj instead, implying that Nicki is trying to take her whole identity, as the title states. Also in 2014, Remy Ma was released from prison and started beefing with Nicki Minaj as well. Fast forward to 2017, and Remy released the scathing diss track Sheether, aimed at Nicki. Once again, this is another beef that I've covered on the channel, so make sure to check that video out too. Around this time, Kim had an interview with Billboard, and during it she talked about how people had been asking her about a possible collaboration track with female artists, like the remix of the Not Tonight track from her debut album. She addressed the rumors that a diss track with her and Remy was on the way by stating that she's cool with Remy and Remy doesn't need help against Nicki, as she held her own with the Sheether track. In June 2017, Remy Ma was performing at Hot 97's Summer Jam and brought out female rappers to the stage, including Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Lil Kim. After they left the stage, Remy performed the diss track Sheether. The optics of the situation would appear to be a jab at Nicki Minaj, as not only were Remy and Kim two of the people feuding with Nicki, but also one of the criticisms that other female rappers have had about Nicki is that she doesn't work well with other female rappers either. Then some months later in November that year, the Remy Ma single Wake Me Up was released, which features Lil Kim. As I mentioned, the track was rumored to be a diss track to Nicki Minaj, but in interviews Kim would continue to deny that it was. On Remy's second verse, she starts it off with the lines, "I'm rich, I'ma stay that bitch, you fake ass bitch, you owe homage, pay that shit, spray that fifth, the crown I'ma take that shit, cause you a clown and homie don't play that shit." And whether or not those lines in particular were aimed at Nicki Minaj. That seems to be what this beef has revolved around really, paying homage. Like I mentioned earlier though, Nicki did pay homage to Lil Kim and mention her positively in interviews early in her career. Around this time, Nicki was featured on a 20th anniversary issue of XXL magazine and had an interview with them as well. In that interview, she was asked about her role in hip-hop, to which she responded with the following. "My role in hip-hop has been super unique because when my first album came out, there had been so much time when there wasn't a female rap album out that went platinum. There wasn't a big female rap presence right before I got in. So my role was really reintroducing the female rapper to pop culture, which some took issue with over what seems to be a misunderstanding, as that often happens on the internet." Nicki then took to Instagram to respond to the backlash, basically explaining once again that she said she reintroduced female rap on a mainstream level and pop culture because it had been years since female rappers were platinum selling like Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. Kim and Nicki continued to mention or be asked about each other in interviews. In an interview with Rob Markman from Genius, Nicki mentioned that there were female rappers that opened the door for her to get into the music industry and mentions that she spoke positively of several female rappers, but one veteran came at her and she hit them back with Roman's Revenge.
I think it's a good thing to open doors because doors were opened for me. And when I was on the Come Up DVDs, if you play my interviews, I didn't only name Foxy. In all of my interviews, I named several females over and over and over and over and fucking over. But they don't tell you that story about me. Right. They only have one narrative. Someone got at me. A veteran got at me. And I hit them with Roman's Revenge, and then I kept on going. Because what am I supposed to fucking do? Hold on. What was I supposed to do? Not feed my fucking family?
So yeah, you could put the rest to speculation of whether or not Roman's Revenge is a diss track to Lil Kim. You can go back to several older interviews, and Nicki has been on record praising rappers like Lil Kim, but then these diss tracks come, so it could be a bit confusing. Around the same time, there was an interview Kim had on 92.3 where she was asked how she felt about Nicki's fourth album being titled Queen, which was released that year in August. She basically told the interviewer, Bootleg Kev, that she's tired of being asked about Nicki and asked why people don't ask Nicki about her instead.
Now, you are the queen bee. This has been established for, I don't know how many years. I don't want to age you, but since I've been a child. Do you feel some type of way about Nicki dropping an album called Queen?
Oh, God. Let me ask you this. Like, do you fuck with me for real?
Yeah, yo, Notorious K.I.M. is my shit.
Okay, so no.
Bella Mafia was my shit.
So if you fuck with me, right?
He's a real Kim
isn't this about Kim?
Oh, it's not. I'm just asking.
Yeah, because see, you know what? If we're going to mention one female, we need to mention them all.
Okay.
We need to mention everybody.
We need to bring everybody in, and we need to give everybody love. God bless her. What she did. But you know what? God bless her. I wish her the best. I'm past that. I'm over it.
I respect that.
Like, at the end of the day, no, this is going to stay. Stop asking me about
I respect that. No, I respect
chick.
that.
I love you. You cool. You always been cool with me. But she did what she did. And until she's ready to be, hopefully God puts it on her mind or whoever else's mind to do the right thing, because she knows what she did. And once that happens, then, hopefully everyone will stop asking me, because y'all don't do that to her. I don't
I've never interviewed Nicki, but if I did sit down with her, I would ask her about that.
But I don't think you would. But at the end of the day, every time stuff like this comes out, it's always like, oh, why is she still talking about? But you guys are the one asking me about other situations.
On Nicki Minaj's Queen album is a song titled Barbie Dreams, which is her version of the Biggie track, Just Playing. Lil Kim on her debut album did the same thing on her track titled Dreams. Once again, this was seen by some as Nicki copying Lil Kim. At this time now, Nicki was also beefing with up-and-coming female rapper Cardi B as well, and when Kim was asked about Nicki, she didn't acknowledge Nicki while stating that Cardi B is cool with her.
You are one of the OG women rappers. I grew up listening to you. What do you make of Cardi B and Nicki Minaj?
Cardi is my girl. I don't know the other one. Cardi is my girl, and so I'm so excited for my girl Cardi. I can't wait for her to have the baby. I love you, Cardi!
Like with Remy, this would seem like the classic saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Nicki pretty much had her hands full with her beef with Remy Ma, Cardi B, and others at this time, and any diss tracks between her and Kim were pretty much done with for the most part. In October 2019, Lil Kim released her 5th album, titled 9, over a decade since her 4th album, The Naked Truth, was released. In between times, she did release a few mixtapes, however, like Black Friday and the Hardcore 2014 mixtapes that I mentioned earlier. Shortly after this is when the pandemic started, and then verses became a thing. Social media went ablaze with people talking about artist matchups that they'd like to see. We got some classics like Gucci Mane and Jeezy, and Bone Thugs and Harmony and 3 6 Mafia, both of which had beef with each other in the past. One potential matchup that was talked about, especially regarding the female rappers, was Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj. Fans of either chimed in stating their thoughts on the matchup and who they think would win and all that. The artists themselves also spoke on it. Lil Kim on the red carpet for the 2021 BET Awards was asked by DJ Envy if she would be interested in doing a versus. Kim responded by saying yes, and when asked with who, she instantly responded with Nicki.
Now I have to ask, right? We're not gonna say who against, but would you do a versus?
Yes.
You would do it?
Yes.
Oh, I see that. All right. Is there anybody that you would do it against, or are you just ready for anybody?
Nicki.
Nicki? Really? I would love to see that.
Yes, me too.
I would love to see that.
The speculation continued on, and in March 2022, Joe Budden released an interview he had with Nicki Minaj where he talked about a variety of things, including verses. He talked about who she would be interested in doing a versus with, and that the ones that make sense would be Lil Kim or Missy Elliott. And Nicki responded by stating that she wasn't saying any names, but also didn't deny that it could be Kim.
Speaking of respect, I saw you say that you would do a versus with 1 or 2 people. We all got to guessing. I already know who one of those people would and should be. My guess would be Kim. The other one, I had no idea. I was stumped a little bit. I thought that maybe you put that there just to stump niggas, because who else would this be outside of Kim, Missy? I don't think, respectfully, I don't think Foxy, I don't think that's there. It's just Kim and Missy, and maybe Lauren, but I don't even see that. I don't see it stylistically.
I haven't said anyone's name,
only me. I'm saying the names.
I'm not saying anybody's name.
Then in April 2023, Swiss Beats, one of the founders of Versus, had an interview with The Breakfast Club and was asked by DJ Envy about whether or not Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj would be doing a versus, and Swiss responded by saying that he can't say, but it is a possibility.
What about, one time we were all talking, and I heard behind the scenes that I was going to get done. I don't know if the conversation stopped. Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim. We kept hearing that.
I think that...
Is that voted past, or is it a possibility?
I can't say it here. I can't say it.
So it's still a possibility?
Yeah, I can't say it here. Yeah, but just know that if you're going to wait this long for verses, if we're going to have you wait this long, it's going to definitely be worth the time.
So as of yet, no versus match between the two. The diss tracks have essentially stopped. Nicki seems focused on putting out new music and is still embroiled in her beef with artists like Cardi B. Pink Friday 2, the sequel to her debut album, Pink Friday, is due out November 2023. Also, in April 2022, Megan Thee Stallion released the single Plan B, which was featured on her album Traumazine, released a few months later in August. Then in September that year, Lil Kim released a mixtape of the song featuring a verse from herself, which was quickly removed from streaming services. After the release of the song, 50 Cent took to social media to accuse Kim of dissing Nicki Minaj on the track, specifically talking about Nicki Minaj's son. The lyrics in particular being the start of her verse with the lines, "Nigga, you's a bitch, your father's a bitch, your brother's a bitch, keep acting like this, and your son gonna be a bitch." Lil Kim responded on social media as well, letting people know that she wouldn't diss someone's children, and that 50 Cent was essentially saying that to cause more problems because he has issues with Kim still. Was 50 instigating and taking Nicki's side since she's from Queens? Possibly. As for my personal thoughts regarding the whole beef, if Lil Kim truly had that situation going on at Cash Money that she spoke of, then this seems like another example of the music business starting a rap beef. We've often seen it said that there can only be one female rapper. Nicki did speak positively of Kim in interviews before this all went down, and even during the beef she still did at times.
And by the way, let me make sure I say this, because you know how they like to twist my words. The same way I feel I should have already been on the cover of American Vogue, so should Lil Kim. If we being all the way 1,000. If we being all the way 1,000. If this is what your magazine represents, influence.
Then how do you not?
If we being honest. If we being honest, because any female rapper, when myself or Lil Kim goes on the internet, every day we see our influence. We will see our influence. So I'm not gonna say it's about me only, right? And not give that woman her just due about what she did.
But on the flip side, she did have a lot of subliminal shots in the music that seemed directed at Kim too. Do you think they're taking any more shots at each other? Do you think this beef will be squashed anytime soon? Is a collaboration or versus in the works? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and of course, as always, check out the links in the description below to join the Discord server and more.